Blog Talk Radio.
Yo, what's going on? This is a better me with the show Being a Man. Today's show is going to be about, can your spouse or significant other have a friend of the opposite sex? So I'll be going over this debate, conversation with one of my friends, Mr. Mango Head.
What's up?
How you doing, Mr. Mango Head?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Great, great. Yo, as usual, go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody else know, what you're doing, where you're streaming, and everything.
Okay, yeah, I am Mr. Mango Head. You can catch this broadcast. We doing a simulcast on Blog Talk Radio, and also you can catch the video of the stream on YouTube at the Mr. Mango Head Show, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights.
All right. So, all right. Before we kick it off, as usual, go ahead and let people know who are listening. If you want to call in and give your 2 cents at any time, that's fine. The show only lasts an hour. So one thing I will say before you call in, please stay on topic, and just be ready to have give your 2 cents. The number is 929-477-2663. Again, that is 929-477-2663. All right. So, I remember I had I do have a friend, and when we was in high school, I actually I'm currently with my high school sweetheart, my wife, and we both had a friend. Actually, he was her friend before mine, and it was one of those things where once I started dating her, and we was together, they still was kind of like they, used to talk on the phone together and stuff like that when I was on the phone. At first, I didn't too much let it bother me, but, as time progressed, I felt like that, I just didn't feel comfortable with my, now my wife having a friend as a male to just talk to. And I'm pretty sure she felt the same way about me doing it as well. So if I can't do it, of course it ain't going down, like that with her. So what's your thoughts on it, Mr. Mango?
Well, I never had that situation growing up or in high school or earlier in a relationship. But my current relationship, I can see someone that could potentially be an issue, but it's not. Oh, but on the topic, can your significant other have a friend, close friend of the opposite sex? I think it's possible, but improbable that it's a pure thing. We are flawed, and most commonly, if a man is friends with the woman, he's friend with the woman because it's all he can be is friends with that woman. That's most commonly. There are always exceptions to the rules. Sometimes there's people that get into your circle by circumstances and they stay in your circle because, y'all didn't fall out. But most commonly, men don't just want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And I think women, they try to play the naive card, like, oh, it's not like that. He's like my brother, blah blah blah. Like they unaware. And I think if you watch a lot of old school movies, we talking about maybe the Civil War or something like that. A lot of times when the husband die, the woman end up marrying some friend of the husband, like his best friend. You know why?
Yeah,
Because women, a lot of times, and I hate having to keep putting this a lot of times, some women and all that. Look, I'm going to put the disclaimer out there now. Under no circumstances will I ever mean all. Okay, we're adults here. We need to know that there's never an all. So I'm not going to keep saying that every time I say that. I'm going to say women. Women, they like to keep people in their orbit. Okay?
Yeah.
And if it don't work out with the one they with, well, they got guys in their orbit that they're stuck in the friend zone orbit, you know. And if it don't work out, well, they can pick. They've already vetted them. They already know about them. They ain't got to meet someone new. So a lot of times I think that happens where they keep them in the orbit, and they play the naive. Oh, he's just a brother, but that's because you with somebody right now. That's because you're in a relationship right now. But if you weren't in a relationship, then what would that friendship be like?
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, like previous conversations we had about, you know, the other sex having a different agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll sit there and, because most of the time, sometimes the conversation can be about how was that person's day, and they could be talking about things that's related to what they're going through in their relationship or something. And of course, being a friend, you're going to always probably end up saying what she wants or what he wants to hear. Mm-hmm. So I just think you having opposite sex as your friend, anything, I mean, something can happen easily due to the fact they're always there. And I think a bond starts to happen to where she's so comfortable with you that, you know, she or he ends up making a mistake.
Yes.
So
that can happen.
That's
and what I also see,
definitely a dangerous ground.
What I also see taking place, and ladies, please call in with your 2 cents. Once again, the number 929-477-2663. But what I oftentimes see is there are different types of men. There's that alpha man that I could care less. I'm alpha. Women gravitate to me. I'm secure in minds. And then there's that beta man. And that beta man is the one that's trying to slide in when things get a little rough. If he has been there all along in orbit, being the confidant, being that person that she talks to about what's going on in their relationship, if she's having a tough time, she might also be the shoulder that gets cried on. He might also be the shoulder that gets cried on. And he might also be the penis that gets sat on. You see what I'm saying? So, you gotta. These things happen. You know, we're not put these things out of her, but these things happen. Beta males are out there. They're predators, okay, and they need to be exterminated.
So I got a quick question. Do you think there are some variables that can allow this? Like, say for instance, she possibly known the person 10 years, or he probably knew her 10 years before you or her got together. Do you think that is cause for that friendship to still go on like it did before you got with that person, or there should be some rules established when, you know what I'm saying, that you end up coming into the picture?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. All relationships that existed prior to your relationship has to change. Okay? We're talking mother, father, siblings. When you commit yourself to another person, when you say, I am yours, you are mine, this is it, then that person has been elevated to priority. And if all these other people love you like they claim to love you, they'll understand that their position is pushed back. So they should have no expectation of things remaining the same. Now, the relationships with related people will always exist unless there's a falling out. But the relationship, like, you gotta understand, a lot of friends ain't just friends, especially with guys. Yo, what's going on, Keaton? How you doing? A lot of friends aren't just friends. Some friends are people that, you know, we tried to date and it didn't work out, but we not mad at each other, so we still friends. Mr. Kiwi, what's going on?
Yeah.
And with that, those relationships should be brought to a minimum. We talking maybe you get happy birthday on Facebook, okay? Brought to a minimum, because there's no substance there anyway. But if this is somebody who tutored me through college, or you know, if there was some type of foundation there who got me through some hard times, then some type of boundaries could be established where relationship. And put it like this: if dinner with everybody feels awkward, then something needs to be done about the relationship. Okay?
Yeah, I definitely I get that. Yeah, if you all three get together and it's one of those situations where everybody don't know how to break the ice, yeah, there's clearly some tension going on. Like, the dude probably don't understand why he or she is here and stuff like that. Yeah, I totally get that. So, yeah, I guess like it. So what does that mean if that significant other does not choose to let go of that prior relationship? So that basically means that significant other probably don't love you enough to understand your feelings or either compromise with you on the situation. And quick second, like if anybody's listening in and you want to call in, again the number is 929-477-2663.
Yeah, you make a great point. Whether it's me or her, if I can't put the person I'm with first and say, you know what, I need to make some changes. I need to break it down to my friend that our friendship is potentially causing some static in our relationship, then that means I can't. I have a limit. I respect the prior relationship greater than I respect the current relationship. Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat.
Yeah.
Not all dating and romantic relationships. Not all dating relationships work out. So how long into the relationship do a person starts to put these boundaries up against prior friendships? You see? Because I'm coming from a perspective of marriage. So that right there means, the time has been put in. But what about new relationships? We just started dating. Okay? So how do we move forward with friends of the opposite sex of your partner when you just start dating?
Mr. Mango.
Go ahead.
We got a caller.
Go ahead.
Yo, this is Mango. How you doing?
It's Ricky Smith Gary.
What's going on?
What's going on, Rick?
I think that some relationships between, say, speaking on this perspective, a married perspective, if you have old friends from school, cool, high and by Facebook, but if you have somebody that you used to kick it with, and they can't respect your relationship, then that need to be cut to a minimum. Basically, if that person can't respect your significant other, then it needs all the way be cut off.
Yeah. Totally understand that. So what do you say, when do they end up breaking those rules or, disrespecting the boundaries?
Well,
like
that person is
little
always
jokes.
If that person is always, when the significant other is out of the picture, or they're going through something, they always making some little snide little comment, then they got some type of other motivation.
Yeah.
They're not being that sounding board. They're being more so that sponge that's taking it in to say, "Oh, I can use that." I can use that against them. The slide right in there, because just like Mango said, you got the alpha and you got that slimy ass beta. When you got that slimy beta that always trying to put something in there that throw a monkey wrench in the relationship. Most women know what type of man they dealing with, and most women they can say they don't, but they know if they got that they always have that alpha and that beta.
Mm-hmm.
That part to play. Most women.
So, do you think it
especially
exists?
if they don't have, they're not secure in their relationship.
Yeah. So you saying it can exist, period, or it can exist with rules and regulations?
Yeah. How me and my wife deal with it, and have ever dealt with it, because it's like we met through a mutual friend, and they had a relationship ongoing, and before there was me, she was introduced to another friend of ours, and it was always something going on between me and him with her. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. So that answer you just gave me, it's a no. Rules and regulations won't even help.
Yeah.
I think it has to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. I think you can have some blanket rules that cover all opposite sex, but I think you have to, like he was saying, she knows her man just like you need as a man to know your woman, and I think there shouldn't be a zero tolerance policy about nothing. There should always be a little room for understanding because every situation is different. But you shouldn't be naive and be blind to the fact that your homeboy is smashing your chick. You know what I'm saying? You should keep your eyes open because, at the end of the day, we all, and here's the problem I had when I was, in the dating game. I knew I was a scumbag, but I always would put the woman I was with on this next level like she was a better person than me. So I couldn't even fathom the fact that she potentially could be a whore. So when things would happen, it would just it would catch me completely off guard because I wasn't even looking at the possibility of her being, a hoe. So we got to keep our eyes open. We got to take the time to know who we're with. And we have to have a little bit of trust, but at the same time, we got to put your stank on it. If you got to pull a button to the side, holler at them, do it.
I think the council of the OGs back in the days, they used to call this person Jody. So while you sitting back, thinking it's all cool for, he's just being friends and all of that. This is that dude while you out there bringing in the bread is chilling with your woman. So I don't think it can happen. Not really, because like from my understanding, a line will always get crossed. Somebody will get too comfortable. Somebody will say something. Somebody will do something that's out of order, and we all know meaningless, words or just it's almost like a poke. Somebody could just throw something out there just to see how you will react. And once they kind of get that reaction that they was probably looking for from that person, they will probably think that gives them cause to, okay, all right, I see where this can potentially go. So, yeah, I definitely don't think that, have your significant other or spouse having a friend of the opposite sex can work, because it's just like not a best friend, but probably a mutual friend, where it's like there's an understanding where like those rules and regulations, like like say for instance, some of my friends like probably I wouldn't call his woman and have like a long conversation with her just talking about anything, because I would feel like that type of conversation is out of order. Now, if I would call and just be like, hey, what's up? We'll be at what's going on, how things going. That's different. Happy birthday or something like that. But calling just to have a conversation out the blue, I think is out of order.
I will say this. I do have a married couple friend. And I'm friends with both parties. that I have conversations with the wife more than I have conversations with the husband. The husband is busy neglecting our friendship, and the wife, we keep it moving. And usually when I'm talking to the wife, though, she's sitting right next to the husband. Okay, so it's not a case where we're talking privately. Hey, what you doing? No, she's usually sitting right next to the husband, but the conversation is with her. But I think when it's a mutual friend, it has to be. I think when it's a mutual friend, it has to be where the conversation is in a situation like that, where you speaking in an open forum and not private, and meeting privately and doing things on an individual of the opposite sex. Like if it was him, I could have a private conversation with him. Me and him could meet up, and it wouldn't be nothing to it because there's no threat there. But it wouldn't be out of line for the same thing to happen to the female of the couple.
So, hey, Ricky, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay. Quick question. So do you feel most people that have a problem with their significant other having a friend of the opposite sex, do you just feel like they just feel threatened? The reason why, or it's just that it's just like I was saying, it's something that's not possible.
Coming from a male perspective, it's always that envy thing that's always like, why is she kicking it with this motherfucker? I'm supposed to be her best friend. It's an inferiority complex. You know.
Yeah.
Clarify. Who's being inferior?
You want to be your woman's all. You want to be your woman's the freak in the bed. You want to be a best friend walking on stand. You want to be a doctor when she's sick. You want to be everything. And with you having to share that small bit of time, she has to share that with someone else, then that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But if you know, my wife, honestly, I got the most loving wife in the world, because I pretty much, she allows me to do anything, but she's like this: you do what you do, but this don't bring no trouble home.
Now let me expound on something he just said, because he spoke about inferiority, and I think I got it to where the dude in the relationship is inferior. See, for me, that's not why I have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it because of me being inferior. I have an issue with it because, one, my wife's petite, and two, I know niggas because I was and am one, okay? And we trying to smash, okay? Whether we got to put something in your drink. I'm not saying I condone have done this, but all of these things are potential things that can happen. Whether, God forbid...
We all have known those guys that have talked about doing this. You know, them tried to, hey, just drop some eye drops in the glass.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. See, my thing was, my thing is, it's not that I fear, like if she step out, she gonna step out. Okay, so I don't fear that. What I fear is that predator, and there's another predator that I forgot to mention in this equation, and that's the dude that don't want no woman. And he prefer to smash females with men because he has all of the reward and none of the responsibility. That's another guy that out there. He's not trying to take your woman. Matter of fact, if y'all break up, he wants y'all to get back together. That dude exists too. Okay? So
yeah. That's that one that's in between. That's like, well, look, I don't want the responsibility of taking you to the club. I don't want the responsibility of you living in this house and me having to go out and fend for you. I'd rather for him to continue to fend for you. But it goes to show you that it's our nature that being an alpha male means that you always want to be that protector.
Exactly. You always want to be that number one. One last thing, like I'm gonna go ahead and put the number back out there for anybody who's listening. You want to call in and give your 2 cents. The show is about, can your spouse or significant other have a friend of the opposite sex? And that number is 929-477-2663. Now, and also I want to say appreciate Mr. Ricky for calling in, giving his 2 cents. Is there any women out there who want to give their 2 cents about your significant other or your spouse having a friend of the opposite sex? Now, on this same topic, can your spouse or significant other have a friend of the opposite sex? Like I was saying earlier, you know, there's a lot of things that could be that relationship could have lasted prior to you getting together, or, you know, it could be a mutual friend, anything that's, you know, that could start it to where that friend, you know, start doing things that you feel uncomfortable with. So, and I think also, wouldn't it be it shouldn't be up to you to say anything. It should your significant other, they would know if whoever that friend is and they're talking to, they would know if things would start getting out of order. Wouldn't you think, Mr. Mango?
Yeah, they know. However, I think this thing, what we do, whether it's me as the man or her as the woman, where we say they should know, F that. We spend too much time, they should know. Just say it. Yo, I got a problem with this, fix it. You love me, fix it. We spend too much time. Oh, they should know. You should know better. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying nag anybody. I'm saying the moment something comes up that you have an issue with something, just have a conversation. Hey, babe, this happened. This is how I feel about it. I'd be happy if this didn't happen again. Nobody around here should have to even pretend to be Professor X. Okay? And that would nip a lot of shenanigans in the bud, because a lot of times when there's a huge falling out, it's because behaviors, you know, man, we're going to keep on pushing the line until we're told to stop. Okay? And behavior can keep on going. Just say something. Yo, I don't like that. Stop it. Please don't do that no more. And if he loves you, he'll stop. And if she loves you, she'll stop. And if they don't stop, guess what? They don't love you. And now you got a choice to make. Stay or move on.
Now, see, I would add to that when I was saying that they should know. It's like one of those situations where you're out with your woman and a dude may pull up on her. Now, you probably is going to go get the food from where y'all at, and he just probably pulls up on her and start talking to her. Now, when I say they should know, you shouldn't have to come over there and say, hello, hold on, dude, you talk to my woman. Your woman should handle that in that situation. Quit one session. I mean, somebody's calling right now. Yo, what's going on? You're on the show Being the Man. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? This is Alex. I was just seeing the comment. Well, not comments. Just heard everything was going on, and just want to add my little 2 cents in with what was the question? Can men or women have friends of the opposite sex?
Yeah, your spouse or significant other. What's going on?
Yeah, so I could say I have experienced that in the past. Prior to me being married, I've had an instance where, me and my wife, before we got married, you know, we had a ton of, you know, friends, you know, and all that, and I had to cut off, like, literally each and every one of them, because it wasn't as though I was in a relationship with them. I wasn't in a relationship with just friends, you know, talking cool and all this. It's the fact that I guess it seemed as though it was a threat to the woman who, you know, I considered my significant other, or someone who I was really into. And I could see that she probably looked as though it was a threat, because here you have all these other females, and even though you never had sex with any of them, you know, you never dated any of them, you're just real good friends. But the fact that it's women, I think they want all the attention to themselves. That's any woman. I don't care what type of woman it is. A woman's going to always want the attention from her man. And
so you're saying that it's possible for your significant other to have a friend of the opposite sex?
To a certain extent, because I know with my wife, when she had her friends, she had friends that were like, oh, I was like, nah, like I probably said, nah, we probably cut all that off, because I had to do the same for you, so you got to do the same for me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm cutting off all these friends, then you have to do the same with all your friends, because either vice versa, if we're both spending time together, when will we have time for those other friends that we have? You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
So you don't have no friends now, do you?
No. No, I don't. But so neither does she.
I think
like that. Like,
let me respond to your situation. I think a lot of times it's a mix of insecurity and women picking up vibes that men are dense to sometimes. Women know when other women want a man. They picking up all the little subtle things that women do. And we men sometimes we're dense when it comes to picking up those cues. And they can pick them up. They can pick up the vibes and couple that with their own insecurity. You know, I can see, you know, how that could be an issue. But as far as I did it, so you got to do it. I don't think that should always be the case. I think there should be instances where that's the case, if there's a problem with that issue on both sides, but not arbitrarily simply because one did it, the other one should do it. Because you might be insecure, but the other person might not be insecure. So, you know, I don't think it should be just I did it, you got to do it, so they can feel like there's a balance.
Well, I have a question for this. So say if I do have a friend, or my wife does have a male friend, if she's calling him and like doing stuff that that she would be doing with her own husband, what's the point of having a husband? You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I kind of look as though if I have a female friend,
give me an example of some of the things she would call him about.
But that's the point. The point would be the attention with that man is like, if I see, say if I'm not talking to her right now, she probably calls her male friend and be talking to her. I'm like, oh no, you're gonna talk to me, like, you're gonna talk to me, like that type of feeling, like for a man to see another woman, or not a woman, for your spouse or significant other, see you talking to another male. To me, that kind of feels though like it's not like something that's like, if it's 5-10 minutes, oh hey, how you doing? Bye. It's like you spending 30 minutes to an hour having a conversation, and it's like, to me, it looks as though it's like the attention that you're not getting from your male, you're giving it to the opposite sex.
Now, I was just thinking about a question. Is there any value in the significant other having a best friend of the opposite sex? Is there any significance to that? Like, what is the value that would bring to the spouse having a friend of the opposite sex?
Yes.
What is
no.
the value that could bring?
Yes and no.
Now, yeah. Well, now I will say, if it's someone that you knew from the day from elementary school, and you guys been tight since day one, and it's like there's no there's no like it's love there, but it's more of a brother sister type feel. I have no problem with that. I'll have to meet them, of course, and I would have to make my final say on if that's cool or not. Just so if I would have brought, like, hey, I've been like this is someone who has been cool with me since day one. I brought her along, and like my wife, she wasn't feeling it, so I had to cut that off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here,
So Mr. Mango,
as for value, you started with saying best friend, and then you changed it up to friend. There's no value in a best friend with the penis for my wife. But for her to have male people to help her better understand some things that she has to deal with when she's dealing with me, I'm not totally opposed to that, because we've all been there when we told something to our lady and it wasn't until somebody else said that something to her that she got it and received it and was like, oh, okay. And sometimes they need whether it's an uncle, a brother, or whatever, but sometimes they need another man to help them understand their man, because we may have issues with our communication, and every time we try to talk about something serious, it turned into a fight. You see what I'm saying? So I can see the potential for it being good. It's just that most commonly, if the relationship don't have a strong foundation, it's going to end with another penis inside of her.
So you're saying it's okay for her to vent to the opposite sex?
No, I ain't saying nothing about venting. Venting in itself is is how betas get in. Okay.
Exactly.
But
giving them information. Power.
Yeah. Venting, no, but inquiring about behaviors. Why does he do this? Like he come home and he's like this. I always wondered why he did that. And not we just had a fight, and oh my God, I wonder. None of that, because and that's why me, as much as I hate it when I fight with mine, I try not to let us leave and it still be going on. I don't think people understand the significance of trying to resolve the issue. Because if you resolve the issue, then there's no need for that vent to the other penis. When I see other dudes, I see other penises. Okay? So there's no need to vent to the other penis. If you say, you know what, we fought, I said all the shit that I said, you said all the stuff you said, are we gonna still be together or not? If we are, then it's time for us to start to try to make peace and try to resolve this issue, work this issue out. So when y'all go to sleep that night, it's done.
Yeah, and you know what? That's where a lot of communication errors occur. That's why a lot of relationships, their communication is poor, because a lot of people do not understand the significance of when you have an argument, the argument need to come to a close. It don't need to go to where you both argued and nothing got resolved. Nothing came out of it. No understanding of nothing. And this is what will lead to another person being called
penis.
Them, yeah, exactly. Them calling their opposite sex friend and talking about, yeah, he did this, or man, yeah, she tripping, and I don't understand why women are acting like this. Well, that makes them go off and call other people. If people understand how important the communication is between you and your significant other, they will take more time to figure out issues, as opposed to just thinking, oh, that person, they get over it. Oh, that's too small for that person to be tripping over. No matter how small the situation is, you always should feel like if your significant other is telling you something, they're trying to communicate to you, before they have to go communicate to somebody else.
And you know what? And sometimes people don't understand that when a woman, because men and women argue for different reasons. we argue, men, at least I do. I argue because I'm right, okay? And she's wrong. That's why I argue, all right? Now, she might argue because this is part of her expressing how she feels. And the fact that I'm not giving her what she needs from that is adding frustration. And we're going into this vicious cycle when technically, when you look at the schematics of the issue, I'm absolutely right. But for her, it's not about that. It's about her processing and working through how she feel about a particular issue. And some men don't understand that their job to listen goes further than the who, what, when, where, like we do when we talking to our male friends. We have to listen for the sake of listening. We might not gain no new information. Yeah, we might not gain no new information, no new facts, but she might just need to download, because sometimes, you know, my mom, wow, I can't believe I said that. My wife, she works a high stress job, okay? And sometimes she might not intend, but some of that energy from a day there might, you know, come on me. And if I'm paying attention, then I can know that, okay, this ain't me. If I'm not paying attention, I'll respond with the same energy that's coming my way. Now, mind you, most of the time I respond with the same energy that's coming my way because I'm still a work in progress. But if I'm paying attention, I know it's not me because I know I didn't do anything to deserve this. However, let me just listen, and maybe if I continue to let her get that off, then she won't. Then she'll be right, and we won't need to, you know, fight any further. And when she comes down from that high she was at of whatever she's going through, she'll come. You know what? I didn't mean this. You know, and a man can take it. A man can take it.
Yeah.
A bitch-made man can't.
Yeah. You know, the funniest thing you said was when you said you're always right. That was hilarious.
No, I didn't say I was always right. I say whenever I argue because I'm right. Okay? I'm not going to argue if I'm wrong. It's pointless. Go ahead with your question.
I have a question. Okay, so let me see. So say, what about new friendships then? Like say if oh, you know, you're at work or something and you meet someone of the opposite sex, he's like, oh man, I think this should be real cool. My wife could be, probably get along. Like, do you think that is appropriate or not, or vice versa with the woman?
Okay, before I answer that, I'm gonna say this again. The number is 929-477-2663. I understand, ladies, that probably me and Mr. Mango probably intimidate a lot of ladies to call in and get a 2 cents.
Don't be scared.
We do value your input. So don't think this is a show where you call in and we don't value your input.
We're not gonna
so again, like I said, the number is 929-477-2663. And to get to your question, Alex, that new friendship that you were talking about, that new friendship, I would say, to be honest with you, that if you start feeling some type of way about some new woman, automatically I would say that you kind of getting to the point where you, what is that? You're attracted to that woman. Yeah, I would think you're probably becoming attracted to that woman.
I wouldn't say so though, because say if you meet someone that you probably you don't feel no type of way toward, but you like their personality. Like, hey, I think her, my wife would be real cool, and like I said, like vice versa, like it may be some of my wife. Like, yeah, I met this dude. He does X, Y, and Z. I think you guys should link up. With like, you don't think that would be appropriate if it's something that he or she brings to that person's attention ahead of time?
I don't know, I know I don't go out and look for women for my wife to be friends with.
No, that's what I'm saying. What if you run into that type of situation where you just probably regular day, not worried about anything, and who knows what could possibly happen during the day. Who knows? But I'm saying, in that, if it was that type of scenario, would that be okay?
If it happened the way you said it, go ahead.
I think the only way that can happen is where you probably know a dude that has a woman, you getting cool with the dude, and you finally meet his significant other, and you probably be like, well, you know what? Maybe we should go out on a double date to see if your significant other may like, his significant other. That's the only way I would see, like, you'll end up
making...
Well,
what about the workplace then? Say, because, there's a ton of people that, work at different various types of jobs.
Alex, let me say this. I have a lady in the chat room that disagrees with you fervently. She first said men don't find friends for their wives at work. Hell no. And then she said no. Then she said nope. And then she said hell no. Okay, so let me just say, I'm gonna go Sigmund Freud on you real quick. If you find a woman at your job that you think might be a good friend for your woman, it is because what you like about your woman, you see in this woman, and you attracted to this woman because she's like your woman. Okay?
Exactly.
And you see similarities. They share things that you think, and the only way you can keep it innocent is to say, wow, they make good friends. Nah, bruh, you want to smash. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Look, my wife knows me, and at least I hope she does. And if she doesn't, she's about to find out. I love her, and my love for her is based off commitment, based off decisions and choices. Love that we're taught is fairy tales that we're taught. Society teaches us fairy tales is lies. Real love is, I want to smash everybody, but I'm not going to smash everybody because I love you. Okay? That's love. Yeah. All right? It had nothing to do with
So you don't think that could happen then? So say if like you said,
it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's highly unlikely.
Not likely.
There's a greater probability that we will have another black president in the next election than that happening.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, you guys.
Go ahead.
I was just trying to ask because I'm not saying that's happened to me, but what if that type of scenario had happened? It could be any type of scenario where it could be the opposite, where a wife probably, this guy at my job said, he does, probably like advice or something like that, or
somebody trying to set up a threesome.
He does. Okay.
that situation right there. Nah, the only way that would work is if you knew you ran into the dude, you getting cool with the dude, and y'all go double dating, and your significant other get cool with his significant other. But other than that, you just meeting some woman at your job, and you just like, you know what? I think my wife would click good with you. And like Mr. Mango was saying, the reason why you would even think that, because it is something you see in her that you see in your wife and you like. So yeah, that's already leading off on the wrong foot right there.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I got you on that. Well, that's all. I just wanted to make the conversation interesting with that type of scenario. Mm-hmm. But
the dude definitely want to smash. The new dude. Now let's take it back for a second, because you did talk about new friendships. If we are in an established relationship and somebody meets somebody new, whether it's the guy meets a new woman or whether it's the woman meets a new man, and they trying to have their own little friendship off to the side, if at any point anybody got to make an effort to hide what they doing, it ain't right.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can't have the same, if you pulling up in the driveway and you on the phone and you sitting in the driveway with your new friend, it ain't right. In your mind, because only God knows what's in your heart and mind, but in your mind, you like, if my wife died today, I got somebody. You thinking some crazy stuff in your mind. You're not actively trying to pursue it, but you. And men should be honest. That at the end of the day, 95 to 98% of everything we do is driven by our balls.
Yeah, if you gotta delete the message, it ain't. It ain't right. You already know a line has been crossed if you gotta delete the message. Yep. So again, we got about 10 more minutes left in this show, and if anybody want to call in with their 2 cents, the number is 929-477-2663. Man,
here's what I need for all the viewers to do, who've watched previous shows, who's listening on Blog Talk Radio. We're always going to come to this show from a man's perspective. Okay, so tell your friends, tell your girlfriends, tell your sisters, your cousins, your aunties. We want to hear from the ladies, because there might be a facet of looking at this topic that we're not taking into account because we don't have vaginas and we don't think like y'all. So don't be scared to talk to us, because we're not scared to talk to y'all.
Yeah, it's always a different perspective on something, and that's why it's good for multiple people to talk about one thing, because it's so many ways you can look at something. Just like me and you only looking at it in our perspective. Somebody else could probably actually been in this situation, and they probably handled it better than how we would handle it. So, yep, that's But as we draw this conversation to a close, it basically, we had one caller that thinks that it could happen, but I think it all boils down to the only way that any of us would allow this to even happen is because your significant other probably knew this person prior to you, and you may have came into the picture and you just drew your line and gave your rules to allow it to continue. But other than that, 9 times out of 10, man, even with rules in place, we're sexual creatures, and when things happen in life and we get in that mood, and it's always could be that right time. Mm-hmm. Something can always go wrong. Mm-hmm. Something can always go wrong.
Yep, I concur.
Especially,
like you
said,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think you was right when you were saying that people today live in a fantasy world about what a marriage is or what a relationship is. Like, we look at these movies and we see the man probably looking in her eyes so good, and then next thing you know, he done gave her the most powerful kiss in the world. Like, it's not like how the movies is portraying it. It's relationships are way difficult mm-hmm. than how it is in the movie.
Mm-hmm. You kiss her in that moment that you want to roll over and put the pillow on her face. You see what I'm saying? All of those times, the time she in the kitchen and she want to spit in your plate and she do it because she love you. There's more instances where we hate the person than where we love the person, and we choose to love. It's a choice, man. It's an active choice. You have to let fall away this idea that feeling you felt when y'all first started talking was real. No, that feeling you felt when y'all first started talking was nature's way of saying, hey, y'all can make babies together. Other than that, that's no foundation for nothing. You have to get to know the person and know whether or not it's can y'all build the future? Can y'all build the life together? And can you stick by this person in spite of whatever may come back? She gets sick, she get cancer. What if she get a hysterectomy and her coochie don't work the same no more? Can you stay in spite of all of that?
Yeah,
that's love.
I agree. I think it's lust then love. There's no way. Do you think it's the other way? Is love then lust?
No, I think that attraction that you feel in the beginning, if we didn't have that, if men operated the way women operate, at least the way I perceive women operate, there'll be like 13 people on the planet. Go ahead.
Right, real quick, Mr. Mango. We just got a caller.
I hope she got a vagina.
How you doing? You on the show, being the man?
Hey, what's going on? This your boy AQ.
What's going on?
What's going on, AQ? You got 5 minutes to give your 2 cents.
Oh, I'm just chiming in, man.
Say what?
I think we lost him. Sound like he cut off.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, give your 2 cents on can a spouse or your significant other have a friend of the opposite sex?
Ooh. Yeah, I don't think that could go down, man. Man. Yeah, I don't know about that one, y'all. I don't think that's a possibility, man. Like anyone could say, "Oh, we just friends and stuff like that." But I guarantee, if that one person advances and stuff like that, it just takes the right moment under the right circumstances, and it could change anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if they knew him 10 years prior, though?
Well, see, I don't know, man, because like let's say something like me and my wife get into like an argument or something like that, and and then she goes to him or whatever, starts talking to him, and like, I don't know, man. I mean, speaking on, not for women, I don't know, I can't say anything for women, but males are, they're sneaky, man. They're like snakes, man. Like, they probably badmouth you behind your back. Because I tell you, you know what? Perfect example, I'll say, when I first met my wife, and this is true, when I first met my wife, she had a bunch of male friends that she had gone to school with and that she was cool with. And while we were dating, everybody was cordial and cool, and, wasn't really saying anything. When we'd be together, they'd be like, "Hey, what's going on, man? It's all good." But not too long after that, when they heard that me and my wife were getting married, oh, they lost it. Like, these dudes started coming out. They were like, "Oh, well, I had these feelings for you, and, I didn't know you guys were getting that serious, and I don't think he's the right man for you." Like, all these dudes just did a 180 on me. I was like, damn.
They thought you was gonna be a fly by night, and they always thought they had a chance. They was procrastinating, and they should have went after her when she was available to go after. And they tried to put a Dwayne Wayne, call some Whitney Please, and it's too late. It's a wrap.
Yeah. Damn. So
here's a question that just popped in my head. Because we've been asking this question: Can a person have a significant other who has a friend that's the opposite sex? What if it's 2 chicks together? Can they have another female friend?
No, well, you know what? I mean, yeah, they can, because when you say that, you're basically saying she may be talking to a chick that can turn her to the dark side or something?
No, there's 2 chicks that are in a loving, sexual, romantic relationship.
Oh.
Can they?
Okay,
can one? It's the same thing, because it's not the opposite sex now. We dealing with same gender loving folks. So can they have that third friend that also is potentially a rival?
Oh, no. I guarantee you it's the same thing, because they know, even though they're the same sex, if another woman probably comes into the equation, or probably even a man.
I don't want to talk about that part. I don't want to talk about that part. Ladies.
Even the woman can be a threat, because, I mean, that can make them start liking another woman. So, yeah, it's the same thing. Even for the same sex, it can be the same thing, in my opinion. But the show is about to go to a close. We got 30 seconds left. I'm going to go ahead and close it out right now. But we can continue talking after this. If you want to continue listening to what we're saying after this show, you can go to Mr. Mango's channel and listen to the rest of it, because he's live streaming it on YouTube. But as far as Blog Talk Radio, we're about to get ready to close it. I want to thank everybody who called. Stay tuned for the next show tomorrow that'll air at the same time at 11 p.m.
All right. Yeah. Well.
All right, guys. So that show is over with.
Yeah. Another one in the can, I guess they say. Another one in the can.
That's what's up.
But I think it has a lot to do with security. How you feeling?
That was a cool question you had at the end, Mr. Mango.
Well, I try to use my brain from time to time, and not too much, just sometimes. But you know what happened? It popped in my head when you asked AQ the question. Like he called in, and obviously he hadn't been listening the entire time. Shame on him, by the way. But he so when you asked him the question, I was like, oh, okay. What if it's all chicks? How would that play out? Can a chick, that's in a same gender loving relationship, can she have a heterosexual male friend? Is that a threat?
Man, I know just a chick that could definitely answer that question, but like I said, we would have to get that from the perspective of that chick. But I think I don't think so though. I think it's still the same situation, in any relationship. Because wouldn't you probably think that the other chick would probably think that it'll turn her woman back to men or something?
Well, not if they were born that way.
Not if they were born what way?
Well, one of the narratives of that community is that they're born that way. Well, if they're born that way, then you can't turn back to men.
Man, there's two type of people in this world. There are people that can be inserted in, and there are people that can insert.
So basically what you're saying is there are the fuckers and the fuckies.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's only two type of people, bro.
Mama, please don't watch this show. Please, Mama, don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Hey, what other than those two type of people, is there any other?
Well, they acting like there's other genders out there now. All these, right now, I don't want to say this wrong, but there's a bunch of gender choices, identities to choose from in 2017. But you're right, when it comes to the physical body, you got innies and outies.
Yeah. Mhm. And you know what? I see what you're saying too, B. They even trying to come up with their own noun. Have you read on that? Like I think they call themselves like Z's or
yeah.
They don't want to be called his or her or him or her. They want to be called like something else.
Well,
yeah,
that's interesting.
That stuff, man.
We need to do a show on if you got the courage.
I was about to say,
if you got the courage,
that's one hell of a risk right there.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to play with them people, B.
Well, I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch a lot of people that don't care, and they like, this is what I feel, you or him, I don't care what you did in the surgery room, and this is what I think, and I say, wow, he got some courage, and I'm like,
that community is strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're strong.
They're gonna, and especially over there, Mike. They're gonna find you.
Yeah.
in Atlanta, yeah, they gonna find you.
Yeah, that community is definitely strong, boy. I tell you, they on another level.
Wow. Well, what you got to do is there's a way to insulate yourself from oppression. If you, like, for example, if you aspire to go into the entertainment industry or whatnot, you can't go to the routes that they control. you got to go your own route. I know they're never going to let another Master P happen again, but in this day and age, there are other ways to achieve success, and you got to ask yourself, what is success to you? So you can't go if you're going to stand with your conviction. You can't put yourself in a position where you depend too much on support from sponsors and large corporations. You need to rely solely on your fan base, because your fan base is what's going to keep you. For example, you remember Pacquiao, right? When he made that comment that he made,
he slaughtered his ass.
And it's like Pacquiao, nobody took into consideration the culture of the country he lived in. Why he may and may not have said what he said. It was immediate. Oh, that's not the message we try to, and then we're gonna, and now had he beat Floyd, maybe he wouldn't have hurt so bad. But look, man, I'm tired of living in fear, man. We're supposed to have amendments where we can say what we want to say, everybody's scared. The two group of people we scared of is the Allah Akbars and the LGBT community. And I'm not saying that we should go around offending people and being disrespectful to people. No, what I'm saying is quit acting like y'all want the rules to apply when y'all don't want the rules to apply to you. I loathe double standards with a passion. Same thing when it comes to so-called equality when it comes to women. And they want equality and they want to pick from it like it's a buffet. I want these things to be equal, but I'm not paying for the movie. I'm not paying for dinner, but I want this and this and this to be equal. I want to get the same money on the job, but at the same time, I want to be able to take my maternity leave and my end of the year salary be the same as yours. I want to get off the boat when it sinks. I want to get out the house when it burns. I want to be let go if I'm a hostage. But we equals. Nah. I should be able to punch you in the face. I don't want to punch you in the face, but I should be able to respond to you the way you're responding to me. But I can't do that. Why? Because we're not equals, and no one has the courage to say that. And I'm not saying we're better. We're not better. But at the end of the day, I got muscles you ain't begin to even develop. And I'll shatter your face. That's why I can't hit you. But don't act like we the same when we not. We're different. And it's okay.
Yeah, that's why you got a male and a female. I don't think we have a third type of, unless we got aliens. That'll be another type of sex. But yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. There's, you think we got aliens?
I mean, I don't think we the only creatures in this universe that's smart.
Well, what if I told you that the universe as it has been presented to us is a lie?
And the world is flat.
I was about to say he's about to go down the Morpheus route right now.
I'm just saying, when you have time to think about it, dude that jumped from the thing on the Red Bull commercial, right? He jumped from really, really, really high and parachuted for that Red Bull promo or whatnot. When you look at him standing on the little platform, you see the earth and it's curved and, he jumps. But if you take your time and watch the video, as he opens the door, for that brief second, there's no curvature on the earth, it's flat. Now, what folks tend to not realize is that if that video we saw with him standing on the platform was a true representation of the earth, why is New Mexico taking up the whole earth? Okay, that was a fisheye lens on the outside, but inside it wasn't a fisheye lens, and it was flat. No one has ever produced an image of the curvature of the earth.
Okay, well, I'll just put it like this. If the world is actually flat and they really want to hide that is flat, I think it has to be power behind the reason why they're hiding that information. I feel like if we're really the only creatures in this world that's as smart as we are, we have to be gods. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like we will have to be gods for that to be the case, because I think it's arrogant to believe that we are the only creatures in this world.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Besides the animals and stuff like that.
I see what you're saying. Intelligent life. The reason why I don't look at it like that, personally, let me first say this. I don't know. I just don't believe nothing no more. But the reason why I can't say we have to be gods is because the idea of God to me is someone who can speak creation into existence. Okay? I know I don't have that ability. I barely can speak penis into my wife's vagina. But so I know I'm not a god on that level. However, if he chose, or she, or it, I'm gonna say he again because that's what I think. If he chose, I'm gonna make this. This is all I'm making, and bomb. That's what I'm doing. Well, that's what I'm doing. And that's what it is. It's not so much it's arrogant for us. That's just what happened. If that's what happened, wasn't there? Don't know. But why is there so much deception in what they present to us? If this was an investigation on any other level, if we're investigating how much air is in a football, and you see this level of deception, nobody would believe nothing. But because we're talking about something so grand, and no one wants to believe that they would potentially deceive everybody, that we find it the hardest to believe, but nothing has been produced. They can't even look. They could turn Hubble around right now and nip it all in the bud, but they can't turn Hubble around because Hubble is an airplane.
So hey, AQ, you think there are other species out there in the world?
Honestly, I can't even I can't answer that. I don't have enough information to even I don't have enough information to even have a side on that, and the information that has been presented to me, I have no ways of validating. So there's really no way for me to even take a guess on whether or not it's true or not. But
so we the only ones.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't say we the only ones. I mean, I never believe anything's final, but with the information that's presented to us, I mean, it's just like what Mr. Mango's saying. Stuff is being, hidden from us. We're being, they're showing us one thing when it's really another thing. So, I mean, you really don't know what you can believe. I mean, heck, if you even want to look at something that we all learned in school, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were alive millions and millions of years ago, right? Millions and millions of years ago. And we can somehow dig up their bones, put them back together without ever knowing what they actually really look like, and look at their bones and tell what type of creature they were, what their actions were, what they ate. From millions of years ago, we can tell all that stuff. From millions of years, I can't even tell you something from last week. You know what I'm saying?
To what you're saying about dinosaurs, here's my issue I've always had with dinosaurs or anything prehistoric mammoths. Now, there's some instances where, I don't know if you remember the Earth, that movie 2012, where, or was it The Day After Tomorrow? It was one of those movies where everything got cold real fast and froze almost immediately. There are what they claim are mammoths that were frozen like that, and they still have food in their bellies. Okay, and but see, here's my issue with everything that happened a million years ago. I need to learn the technique to learn how to check my math in school, right? So for me to know that 1 plus 1 is 2, I then need to know how to check it with 2 minus 1 is 1. So you telling me you have a method to make sure or to check that the measurement that you're using to measure time and the carbon dating is accurate? How do you check the measurement tools? You see what I'm saying? We said it's millions and billions of years ago. Well, we can measure, from the expansion of the galaxy and blah 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 blah. How you know it's right? How you know what you're looking at stayed constant? There's a lot of assumptions that scientists use to base their theories on. We're assuming this, and this, and then we're gonna come to this theory based off of all these assumptions. And at the end of the day, the only thing that's real is what we know to have experienced. We have experienced the Civil War. We remember that. We have experienced a lot of the things that took place in more recent history. But ancient history, if it wasn't for stuff we can dig up archaeology, and even then, if there's no written text to accompany a lot of the archaeological digs, we would have no timetable. How do we check that? Yeah, this was in fact 6,000 years ago. Yeah, this was in fact. How do you check that? You do some little chemical test.
That's exactly, man. I agree with you on that, and that's why, like honestly, I can't really answer most of these questions because, I don't want to seem ignorant, and two, I really don't know.
Ain't nobody gonna judge you, man. You can seem ignorant.
You could, yeah, but Michael could be like, hey, AQ, I'm I just been hitting the gym. I'm 280 right now. I'd be like, boy, you lying. Until I pick you up myself and see you on that scale, I'm not gonna believe that. But millions and millions of years ago, billions of years ago, this happened to the Earth, this happened to dinosaurs, but you can't tell me how the Egyptians built pyramids 2,000 years ago? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, let's look at...
it's smarter. It's a smarter civilization that lives beneath us.
Oh, really? Really, Mike? Okay. All right. I want to see what their computers look like.
I've heard that also, but the reason... Okay,
then my question is for you this. If there's a smarter civilization under us, their internet connection must be slow, because when I'm in the basement, my internet connection is slow as hell, so I don't know what their shit is like.
Now, I think their internet is connected to the core.
Or maybe they have some type of mental capabilities where they don't need internet like we do. But going back to the millions of years ago, the reason I believe that we use these large numbers to identify distance, light years, all these big old numbers millions of years ago, is because of the fact that it can't be checked. For example, right now they currently believe that the sun is 93 million miles away from the Earth. Now, prior to the 93 million mile number, it was 200 million miles. There's all these different numbers, and they keep correcting the number of how far the Earth is from the sun. And I'm saying, if in fact the Earth is X billion times the circumference that make the world look like a small marble standing next to a basketball, if the sun is that big and it's 93 million miles away from the Earth shooting its rays at us, when it is wintertime, you mean to tell me the small change in tilt of the axis or the rotation of the planet creates such a huge difference in temperature? If that was the case, those rays hitting our planet would be hot, the same temperature all the way around the Earth, no matter what time of the year, if it was that big and that distance away. I believe that it's not that big and that distance away. I don't know, because I can't see. I can't go to the sun. I'm not Icarus. But I believe that it's, in fact, smaller and closer. And that's
Yeah,
why it's
yeah.
we get the seasons that we get.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Like, I mean, that's with anything, man. Like, usually you bump up a crazy price or say some crazy amount just so that people don't question it or be like, oh, never mind. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, you could, like, I don't know, like, example, something like you trying to buy something. Like, nobody questioned like what actually, like, when you see these Gucci belts that are like $500 to $1,000 or something like that, who actually questions like, oh, how is that made? Like, what actually goes into that? Like, how much did they actually spend
I do
on
it all
that?
the
Now,
time.
if the people that have the money be like, oh, I'm just gonna get it, and the people that don't have the money like, oh, that's too much, I ain't gonna worry about that. Let me just don't worry about that, you know. But I mean, you know, that's what you do. Like, you bump something up real high, you know, not just with prices, anything. Just you say like some crazy outrageous number that someone will not question and has no way to validate, just to leave you alone.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Gucci belts, I know that there are no cows out there that are extra special, that makes extra special leather. Okay. So I know that they're getting it for prestige and simply because, you know, they can. And we can't. Just to remind us that we can and you can't. That's why they do that. But because even if I had the money, I'm not. No, that's stupid. You know, folks that do that.
I mean,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, in terms of like Gucci belts and stuff like that, you gotta think about when things are being built on a mass production. Every company that builds things on a mass production, they cut corners to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you think about watches, the very expensive watches, the ones that they make over in Germany, now those watches cost a lot of money because why? They're generally handmade. So those watches are limited and they cost that much because they're limited. And you know, that's how I look at it when it comes to buying something. Like, is it a mass production product? Okay, yeah, it is. So they're cutting corners. They have a big name, and that's the reason why they can get away with that price.
Okay, so let's say we got Buddy hand making watches. How long does it take him to make a watch? Let's say, go ahead. You got an idea how long it take him to make a watch?
No, I don't.
Well, let's say it take him 24 man hours to make a watch. I just pulled that number out of my butt. I have no idea. So you mean tell me if if it take him 24 man hours to make a watch and they selling this watch is limited for 15 grand, okay? And I'm pulling out my calculator right now. Divided by 24.
Yeah.
So Buddy making $625 an hour. Nah, I'm good. I got my Armatron from Walmart. Tell me what time it is. I'm good.
And not only the fact that it's custom made by one person, it's the fact that his craft is probably a dying thing. Like, the way he's making a watch is probably something that's not being done in the industry. So, because you got to remember, when they probably first started making watches, all watches probably was handmade at that time.
Yeah.
But as technology picked up, companies, like I say, mass production. Mm-hmm. So they figured out ways to cut corners. Okay, let's make watches that quartz watches, which in turn we just put battery in it. And it makes sure it continues to tick until the battery dies. You just put another one in there. Those watches that are handmade, those are not battery-made watches. Those are watches that mechanics is the reason why it works.
You be the only one that know what time it is in an EMP.
It's becoming a lost art. So that's why it's expensive. Anything that becomes a lost art becomes expensive.
I feel you. The Earth is flat, by the way.
Man, you know what? Like I said earlier, if they're hiding the fact that it is potentially flat for real, it has to be a powerful significance. The reason why they're hiding that
Yeah,
information.
cause if it was all right, perfect. Let me break that to you down. This is what the common running theory is by those who believe it's flat. They call them the flat earthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their model is there is a structure that prevents us from going out into space, okay? And they believe that the description that's given in the Bible is more real than what we've been told. And that is, if you go into Genesis, where they talk about the firmament and the separation of the waters below and the waters above, what we see, the stars and everything, above that is water, right? There's like a dome type structure, okay? And so we can't go past that dome. And domes go all the way down to the ground, okay? So if we walk further enough north, south, east, or west, we'd eventually get to the edge. Mind you, this is the model that they believe. And that's why no one has fallen off the earth. But if that's true, and that's what it is, and that's what we live on, then somebody had to have created that. And if somebody created that, then that right there is the utmost evidence that there is a creator. And if everything that the creator has said and put in all of his texts, the folks that disagree with that can't let that be unequivocal. Can't let that be God is real. He made this. We're in a big old zoo. You know, they can't have that. They got to have round Earth. Notice how every movie about space, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, all of those space movies, all the awesome. I'm a sci-fi fanatic. I love space movies. But how many space movies are based off of real events, and you can't name Apollo 13? Go.
No, so Apollo 13 is the only one.
Why is that? Why is the only movie about space that's based off of actual events is Apollo 13 and nothing else?
And you know, I don't know, because why is it that NASA is one of the only, aircrafts that can go up into space and test shit? Like, why can't somebody just create a private, rocket company?
It's been done. Do it? It's been done. And rockets can only go about 75 to 80 miles up, and they stop.
Damn.
They stop. There's videos of rockets stopping about 75, 80 miles up. And and after that, they just descend back to the Earth. The reason NASA, which is not technically a government agency, but is controlled by the government kind of way, one, it's a money grab. If I had this big old lie, all the funding that they get from the government, boom, let's get that money. Two, to control what everybody sees. Yeah, there was a dude. Somebody in the chat had said Star Trek. Captain Picard was named after this physicist in Germany. He wasn't German though, but he was in Germany when he did this experiment. He created, and there's a Hennessy commercial based off this experiment. He created a helium balloon, but a capsule, and he ascended to about 100,000 feet. And they thought he was dead. They gave up on him. He ascended because the pressure is different, so he had to do the pressurization. And when he peeked out his little hole, he had a little hole like they have on submarines. And they asked him when he got back down, yo, what it looked like? What did you see? Because that's the highest. And this happened back when Einstein was still alive. That's the highest anybody's been. He was like, it was flat with upturned edges. It was flat with upturned edges. That's the description he gave.
Hey, so how do they get these astronauts who are, said to went on the moon and stuff like that? How do you really get another human being to join that, and then to say he actually was on the moon and stuff if he wasn't?
All right, cool. That go back to what I was saying a moment ago. I was asking why we got only Apollo 13 and not, a whole bunch of movies about stuff we did in space. You know how many Apollo programs there was? A ton of Apollo programs. And
oh yeah, a lot.
But we only got Apollo 13. So to answer that question, the reason it's believed that they don't have all of these space movies about actual live events is because we then will be able to see, if Hollywood can make these movies, we'll be able to see that original stuff was filmed on a backlot, wasn't real. How is it that now we can't cross over the Van Allen belt when the Van Allen belt is between, according to them, the moon and Earth? But back then they went to the moon, and we just supposed to ignore the fact that they say we can't go through the Van Allen belt now. But it was. There's a video of somebody asking one of those astronauts to swear on the Bible that they've been to the moon. Buddy got so hot and so upset that he threatened to punch dude, to fight dude. I forget. I'm thinking it was Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin. One of those dudes got so livid. What folks don't understand is, one, everybody got a price. Whether it's a monetary price or whether it's a price based off of threats, everybody got a price. Who wouldn't want to live that life as a hero? All astronauts are considered heroes. Okay.
Oh well, they've been taken care of like the president. Then, because I'll tell you, if all of this is false, they're being taken care of just like the president.
So yeah, and there's so much you know how you watch Law and Order and they be like, well, that evidence is circumstantial. There's so much circumstantial evidence. We are supposed to be on a ball rotating at about 3,000 miles an hour, spinning or orbiting the sun at about 666 miles an hour, 1,000 miles an hour. And the sun is supposed to be spiraling the Milky Way at about 100 million miles an hour. Now just think about all that movement. Just think about you in the car riding down the interstate and you see the trees next to the road and you see the trees off in the distance. The trees next to the road is flying by your window. The trees off to the distance is moving slowly. That's perception. That's perspective, right? You telling me that we spinning and then we orbiting and then we spiraling around the sun as it goes around the center of the Milky Way, and for all recorded history, the stars are in the same place every night?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I'm just saying. Saying.
Yeah.
And the moon is supposed to affect the tide, right? The moon is gravitational pull from the moon supposed to affect the tide, right? And it makes the water go in and the water go out. Now, how come lakes don't have tides? I'm just saying. So there's so much circumstantial evidence. When you add it up, it don't add up. But we was taught this. They pop a globe in front of our kids the very first day in school. Boom, this is what it is, and we don't question it. This is what they told us. Man,
how do you get an astronaut to swear on his life to never say anything? Because how many? Actually,
this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Go look up a picture of of all them old school astronauts and check their fingers and see if they got any rings on their fingers, they got any triangles on them. That's how you do it.
Oh, that means they don't have any families and they got to stay on site.
I'm over here vaping, and it went down the wrong pipe.
Hey, but it's been 30 extra minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode on that. So,
All right then.
hey, you know what? Hey, hit me if you wanna. I wanted to talk to you about something. So hit me up on the phone either later or you can do it tomorrow, and then we can talk about it there.
Okay, I'll just give you a call right after this.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it, man.
All right,
Good show
cool.
Today.
All right then, great, good show, good stuff. All right, I'm gonna hit you up. All right, everybody who watching on
Thank you for
YouTube,
using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
after this chick done talking over me, I'd like to say thank you for watching. You know, if you like this show, leave a comment about the show. If you like the show, hit the thumbs up about the show. If you have an idea for topics about the show, leave some of the topics in the comment section, and maybe we could do a show about something you suggested. It's time for me to get up off here. Will I come back to do a video game stream? I don't know. But I need to go to the bathroom. So this is Mr. Mangohead, and I'm out. Peace.